Now, open-ended questions are often included after rating forms to help clarify ratings and offer students places to add suggestions for course improvement or to voice opinions otherwise not thought of elsewhere on the evaluation. But sometimes interpreting those written comments for the purposes of data, that can be a bit tricky. Some studies indicate that the students most likely to write comments are either the students who are the most satisfied with the course or the ones the least satisfied with the course. So do try to keep that in mind when interpreting the comments. Commentary is often not representative of the class as a whole, but only the extreme ends of the class. As such, any positive comments you receive, given the anonymous nature of the evaluations, tend to be the most genuine commentary given. However, the inverse may not necessarily be true. Negative commentary, even though they are also anonymous, may not be 100% reflective of you. These comments may be born out of frustration of things outside the class or the material, or rooted in the equipment, separate job-related or life stresses, or even simply rooted in the fact that the student was placed in the wrong class. The commentary may even be excessively harsh due to the anonymous nature of the evaluation itself. So try not to overreact to the negative commentary. It's human nature to do so, but try not to. Overall, you will want to come up with a system to track both positive and negative feedback over time. The open-ended nature of the comments may prove difficult to categorize, but not impossible. Look at all the questions together one at a time. So if there's an open-ended question on the evaluation that asks, in the space below, please provide any additional comments you may have regarding the instructor. That's a very open-ended question that, true, may yield a wide variety of responses, but there are ways you can categorize and track these various responses. You can track anything you like, like the gender of the participant, the class you were teaching, the courseware used, and then you can try breaking down the comment itself into categories, basically grouping the comments as a whole, ideally by teaching component like organization, class delivery, or communication style, but other categories are possible too. How you track comments is up to you, though I can say that using Microsoft Excel is a popular choice just because of its ease of use and its price point. But basically, you want to know whether or not the comment is positive or negative, constructive or not, personal, class, environment, curriculum, or equipment specific. And then from there, break the individual categories down further. If it is a personal criticism, is it something you can change or have control over? If it is not, then it's probably not even worth tracking. If it is, then read through the rest of the comments and look for similar comments. If this comment is an unconstructive outlier that has nothing to do with the class or teaching, then that might not be worth paying attention to. But then again, popping a breath mint after lunch is an easy fix to this particular comment and not a bad idea. So now you can begin to write a response or an action step for yourself, a personal reflection, an action item. Eat a breath mint after lunch. Now, obviously, not all commentary will be this ridiculous or even this easy to implement. This was just one example. Now, if we were to create a spreadsheet or look at other comments based off of this structure I'm talking about, here's what that would look like. So here's our spreadsheet with our various fields tracking our question, our student response, and other useful or pertinent information like the specific class, the day the class was held, and other categories, whether or not the comment was positive or negative, the teaching component such as communication style, class delivery, whether or not the comment was constructive, and our own personal reflection or action item regarding that specific commentary. So looking at this second student response, here we have, Heather was great. She answered all my questions and stayed after class to help me with a problem I was having I'm assuming on some VBA code. So right off the bat, this looks like a positive comment. And this was about, I just sort of categorized it as class delivery, even though the comment or the specific action occurred after the class. Now, at first glance, this is a positive comment. But if we dig deeper about the class itself, this is an Excel Level 1 class, and the comment itself, the student was having a problem with VBA code, which is not something that is taught in an Excel Level 1 class. This is content that is taught in an Excel Level 3 class. So digging deep into this student response, what's the problem here? This student was placed in the wrong class. So even though this was a positive comment, this is really speaking to a problem with the student being placed in the wrong class. So even though this situation ended positively and this student was satisfied, their problem was solved in an kind of unorthodox way outside of the class, it is speaking to a larger issue that was outside the instructor's control. So the reflection or the action item that I've written here to follow up on is to follow up with the sales rep regarding class placement. This student did not belong in a Level 1 class. So here's an opportunity here for the salesperson to maybe follow up with either the student or the company regarding maybe future classes that the student might be interested in. So there's something here to explore. And along those same lines, in terms of tracking data, something else I might think about including on the spreadsheet is quite possibly the salesperson who is in charge of selling this class. Maybe I could locate a trend. Maybe the salesperson does this a lot. Who knows? The only way to know whether or not this salesperson is doing this often or if this is a one-time kind of event is if I start tracking this kind of feedback and seeing if this particular salesperson misplaces students in the wrong classes often. So just based on this exercise, you can kind of see the advantages of tracking this kind of data and going back and just taking a few minutes to look at them, pause, reflect, and following up on it. So on that note, as you are reflecting, here are 4 questions that you want to keep in mind. You want to ask yourself, does my assessment of my teaching match my students' assessment? And you want to ask yourself, what is working? What isn't working? And of course, what will I work on next?